because once they start getting hype and you're like, "Look at it, look, you be like, "Look, you see your eyes? That thing is fire right there. That
Yeah.
smile. I need you to do that again." And
Mhm.
they be like,
Yes. Yep,
yeah.
yep. Today on the podcast, I'm sitting down with Kendall Patterson, better known as KenKreator, a fashion and portrait photographer based in Dover, Delaware, whose creative journey spans more than 2 decades. Ken began his storytelling career in the late 90s and early 2000s, working in video long before digital content became the global language it is today. During the COVID pandemic, he shifted fully into photography, bringing that cinematic eye, instinctive sense of style, and deep understanding of the human expression to the images he creates now. In this conversation, we explore the heart of Ken's work, creativity, identity, and culture, and how those themes shape both his artistic voice and the way he shows up for his clients. We also get real about the entrepreneurial side of being a creator, the challenges of building a brand, navigating burnout, finding work-life balance, and facing down the ever-present companion to all artists, imposter syndrome. Kendall also shares insights into his creative process, the evolution of technology since the 90s, and why proper data backup is one of the most overlooked responsibilities in the industry. I'm your host, Charvon Hales, and this is Light, Life, and Limitations, a podcast where creativity meets reality.
When the world feels out of frame, every thought, every fear, every revelation, I find my way through the quiet flame, lighting life in all the limitations.
Welcome, Ken.
Hey, welcome, Siobhan. You know what? You speak super highly of me. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, is she talking about me?"
I'm glad
I'm
you liked
like,
your I'm glad you liked your intro.
yeah, I'm like,
ChatGPT has been my good friend with writing with helping to write my content. I'm a very good prompt writer, but I'm not a very flowery writer. So,
"Oh, wow,
I utilize ChatGPT to help pizzazz it up a little bit, but,
wow,
you know,
wow." Because I was like, "Who is she talking about? That's not Ken
I
to
will
me."
send it over to you, you can use it in your media kit.
Thank you. Amazing,
But,
amazing.
so just some quick background on Ken and how I know Ken. We met on Twitter some
Right?
years ago in the midst of the pandemic. Photography Twitter is a huge community, but also sort of a like tight knit community. I think
Yeah,
I put out a tweet that said, "Who wants to be in a photography group chat?" And that's what happened.
yeah,
And it was us and a few others, and then ever since you were local at the time. I was in Philly, so we were
yeah,
relatively local to each other. And here we are now, still
yeah.
doing our
I
thing.
still doing our thing. It's hard to believe that that's been, like, 5 years ago.
Probably,
The
yeah.
pandemic, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, you know what? I will tell you that your mentorship during the chats, oh my gosh, they were epic because I would go out as soon as you put out, like, a prompt or a, something like, "Oh, yeah, you guys wanna try this?" I immediately went outside.
Oh,
To
wow.
go
It's interesting that you call it mentorship because it was really to me just like, kinda shooting the shit, like,
yeah, yeah, but
'cause we were all it was a group discussion. We were all sharing insights and stuff with each other. I feel like it was a really good group chat in that everybody kinda had their own area of expertise or their own area of influence, so we were all learning from each other.
yeah, but that's still, mentorship is still mentorship, whether or not it's one-on-one or it's a group conversation, we're all learning from each other, and, during the pandemic when we couldn't touch each other or breathe the same air, it was like the perfect time. If you're gonna do photography, "Oh, let me go out and do this solo thing and shoot the trees and the snow."
Mhm.
But yeah, I would immediately implement everything that was said in the group chat just to see how it worked.
Mhm.
It's probably the best thing ever,
Well,
during
I'm
COVID.
glad I'm glad it's been, that my 2 decades of shooting knowledge was beneficial to you. But
Oh, yeah.
let's go ahead and let's get into who Ken Creator is. Let's tell us a little bit about yourself, beyond what I mentioned in the intro, and
Certainly.
what you do with photography.
So, oh, wow, let me where can I start? So, I started off doing video, um, back in the late '90s, early 2000s, before Premiere was a thing, before Final Cut was a thing. Uh, I'm talking just as a transition from VHS camcorders to, mini
Mhm.
DV tapes with FireWire.
Yes.
Yeah, so and I had a mini DV camera with FireWire, and we were talking megabytes of hard drive space
Mhm.
versus terabytes and gigabytes, so can you imagine what it
Mhm.
took to edit video? Oh
Yes.
my yes, it was render. Please don't let there be a power outage. Please don't let anything happen. Please don't let me run out of hard drive space. Please don't let the program crash because you would have to start over.
Mhm.
It was nuts. It was
So
crazy.
what kind of, things were you shooting back then, as a
So
videographer?
so as a videographer, I was doing the standard videographer stuff. I was shooting events, mostly weddings,
Mhm.
because, weddings everyone does weddings, and then I had worked on a few independent projects,
Mhm.
which were, you know give me the chance to do those projects again, I would jump right back on it because it was literally, "Here's a few hours of video work. Here's XYZ money." Back in the 2000s and 90s, it was like, "What? You're paying me this much money for, like
Mhm.
for this little bit of work?" So, yeah, I would jump back on in a heartbeat. Uh, but then I got burnt out doing videography.
Mhm.
I got burnt out because, I was doing weddings, I was doing church services,
Mhm.
and I was editing, and they wanted a turnaround time of, like,
Yeah.
immediately. So the church services would be like, "Oh, yeah, here's a tape from Sunday service. Can you get it edited down for Wednesday broadcast on the local public broadcasting station?" So before I'm not gonna say before cable, but public access, you should
Yeah.
be able to get public access channels, and they give that to the community,
Mhm.
and I used to sit down and just edit that down, remix it, 2 cameras, and it was a pain because CPUs were not in the gigahertz range.
Yeah.
We're talking technology was not there.
Yeah, I did, video in high school, back we were doing camcorders, and we had, like, an editing deck with the wheels, and you, like, you gotta turn this one to get to the spot, and you turn it, and you hit
Yes,
record because you're recording from this deck to to the tape to get
yes,
the final. I loved it, like, I would get into my zone, with that. I low key, like, if Premiere could make a deck like that to connect to the computer now,
yeah,
I could edit stuff so much faster than
yeah,
trying to drag things to a timeline.
that is true. Yeah, sometimes that dragging is it's
Yeah,
a pain.
dragging and trying to get to the right spot to cut it and stuff, man. It's like,
Yeah,
give me my little dials back, like, zoom
right?
in,
It's like, "Woo, woo, woo." Yeah,
hit record, hit stop, then you get to the next spot, hit record, hit stop. That was so much easier.
so much easier, so much easier. But, I have to admit that NLEs I started off using, like, Vegas,
Mhm,
um, and then Sony bought the Vegas suite, so I was using Vegas Video,
mhm.
Vegas, all of their whole suite to edit videos, and I loved it. It made life easy for me because those
Mhm.
jogging wheels, I get it. It was like, "Oh, yeah, that's good," but when you have 3 cameras,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was nuts. So, I got burnt out,
Mhm.
and I started a family, and it was like, "Okay, well, we got things to do." So, for a long time, I didn't shoot.
Mhm.
I wasn't doing anything, maybe on occasion, and then the pandemic hit, and we couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I thought, "Oh, let me pick up the camera again."
Mhm.
So I called my aunt, um, who used to be the family photographer, 'cause every family has the photographer.
Yes.
Yes.
It was
Um,
for us, it was my dad, and then it turned into
r
me.
right, exactly, it's the same thing. So I called up, I was like, "Hey, Aunt Dot, I'm about to start doing photography." And she was
Mhm.
like, "Okay, nephew, what do you wanna know?" I was like, "Well, what camera do you recommend?" At the time, she was shooting Nikon.
Mm.
She was like, "Well, right now I shoot Nikon, but when I was seriously shooting, I was shooting Canon." And I was like, "Oh, well, why did you shoot Canon?" And this is why I shoot Canon today.
Mhm.
For about a decade or more, she used to go down to the Panamanian rainforest down in Panama
Mhm.
with her Canon. I'm talking during the rainy season,
Mhm.
and it never failed her.
Mm.
Never.
Yeah.
I'm talking she would take that thing and send back video of howler monkeys and torrential rain. I'm like, "Oh, well, that's what I'm gonna use." Because why like, it's never failed her, and she's like, "Oh, I got water in one lens one time, and I sent it to Canon, they sent it right back fixed." She said, "It cost me a little bit of money and took it right back to duty." I thought, "Yeah, we're shooting Canon. I don't
Yeah.
care what anyone else says. No one care about Sony, we don't care about Nikon, mm-mm,
We Canon
mm-mm."
shooters over here. I mean, that's kinda how I got into Canon is my dad bought me a camera, an SLR for, graduation, and he bought me
Right?
a Canon, but then, like, come, like, 20 years later, I find out that he was a Nikon shooter. So I asked him, I'm like, "Well, why did you buy me a Canon?" He was like, "'Cause that's what I found at the pawn shop." I was like,
Okay,
"Okay." So
right,
now I'm, like, loyal to Canon just because, like, when you switch cameras, you gotta switch all your lenses and everything. I'm like, "I'm
right,
not starting over." Like, my whole ecosystem is Canon. I'm like,
right,
I am
exactly.
Canon and an HP girl over here."
Right, exactly. It's like, I'm not fooling around. It's funny you say that. Folks ask me why I don't use Macs. I'm like, "Because," I say, "I built my own workstation. I built it specifically for this, and it's cheaper for me to build my own workstation to
Mhm.
buy than buying a Mac that costs 3 times as much." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I have the expertise in that." So I'm
I
like,
had,
"Alright, we got."
speaking of, like, Twitter mentorship, I had a photography mentor on Twitter who I used to follow. Honestly, I can't remember his name, but he was, like, in the UK or Australia. He was somewhere overseas, and I used to ask him all types of questions. He was like an open book. He was like, "Just ask me whatever questions," when I was starting out. So, I
Right.
think I was looking into getting a MacBook after I graduated from college.
Mhm.
I was like, "What specs do you recommend?" He was like, "A PC." I was like, "Wait, you don't use a Mac?" He's like, "I use a PC to do all my work, and then I show it to my clients on a Mac." He was like, "Because, appearances, they think that if you have a Mac, then you're, like, legit or whatever." He was like, "But the heavy lifting, the labor, I do it on my PC." I was like, and that just
Oh,
made things easier for me as somebody, and you can relate to this, having a day job and then
right?
having a side hustle. If you're switching back and forth between a PC environment at your day job and then a Mac environment after work, your muscle memory gets confused.
It
So,
does, it
it's just
does.
easier to stay, like, in a Windows environment,
Yeah,
when
it does, and you know what? And because a Windows environment is here we go. It's just easy to upgrade,
yes.
whereas Mac folks are like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta buy a new Mac every 5 years." I'm thinking,
Mhm.
"Oh, I just gotta pop out memory, put new memory in."
That's
I'm
what
like,
I did earlier this year. I ran out of space, so I went and bought a bigger SSD, put a new SSD in there. I'm like, and the body of my laptop is nice and small and lightweight, and
"Yeah,
it's I've had that. I bought that open box at Best Buy for like
mm,
$500 and just upgraded the RAM and the hard drive. So,
exactly."
um
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. Now I might have to go buy a Mac now just for optics purposes.
no, just
Like,
get an iPad. Just get an iPad. Just
yeah,
swipe through the pictures on the iPad. There you go.
yes, yes, yeah,
Um, okay, during the pandemic, you got into photography. So what did you
yeah,
start out shooting when you decided to pick up the camera again?
everything. Literally, when I say literally everything, water bottles, doorknobs, um,
When abstracts.
candies, like, literally anything around the house. Me in the mirror,
Mhm.
anything that I could get my hands on, and it's funny is because I started out I bought the T7i.
Mhm.
Love that little crop sensor camera, 23 megapixels. Oh my god. We had so much fun with that camera. Um, I literally never went in automatic. Started in the manual and said, "I'm gonna learn this the old school hard way." Threw the
Mhm.
manual out and just went through every single setting on that camera,
Yep.
mixing and matching. I probably spent a good 6 months overexposing, underexposing, and just figuring out everything
And this is what
on
I
this
tell
camera.
people. I'm like, "Learn your camera. Learn your
Yeah,
camera."
yes, learn the camera, going outside, photographing, uh, so I was working for the government at the time,
Mhm.
and we were working from home. I would get up at 4 in the morning, go out to the state forest, and it was snow on the ground, pop, 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 pop a couple photos, and start just jack-jawing with all the settings just to see what they look like. Come home, sit down, s look at them. "Oh, okay, I like this, I like that," and thankfully, I was using Canon's photo editing software at the time
Mhm.
that you could download from their site, and eventually I moved over to Lightroom and Photoshop like everyone else, but it was telling me all the settings in the camera. I was just writing them
Take
down.
notes, yeah.
Notes, tons. I've got tons of notebooks that I probably threw out about just
So you were doing a
what the camera
logbook.
does.
So that's what, that's what my dad always talks about his logbook. So when he was
Yeah,
shooting film, he would write, he would take an exposure, write down his settings. I mean, that's how I learned photography as well, because I learned
yeah,
on film. And you
yep,
had a book with you where you were writing down your settings. So that way, when you developed your film and you saw what the exposure looked like, you're like, oh, okay, so this setting is good, or this combination is set. So that's literally what you were doing. It was like you were
yep.
taking that analog method, but using it with a digital camera.
Yeah, yeah, and indeed, and it helped so much, so much, and then right after still during the pandemic, then I took a class.
Mhm.
I took a class with Brandon Cole. He came to Philadelphia.
Okay, I know that name.
Uh, yeah, yeah, and then, he taught me high speed sync and Indeed
Mhm.
filter. Girl.
Yes. I'm telling you, man, and this is what I tell people all the time. I'm like, "You gotta get out to the workshops. If you can afford
Yep.
it, go to Imaging USA, go to WPPI."
Yeah,
The amount of stuff you can learn from just so many different people at so many different levels in the industry will just
yeah,
up your game significantly.
significantly, yeah, so when I learned that and I started learning the high speed sync and flash, because in video, you're kinda dealing with consistent light, and when you're first learning, everyone's a natural light shooter. I
Mhm,
wasn't fooling around with flash, I was just trying to, find a good exposure,
mhm.
but yeah, when I got turned on to that, I was like,
And
"Oh!"
that's the thing, when you learn how to use a strobe, like, when you really understand it, you would see what it does with your pictures, you're like, "Oh, what was I doing all this time?"
Right, right, exactly. So then I got hooked on that for the longest time. I was just shooting everything high speed sync. I had no business shooting stuff in high speed sync and strobes. I'm like, for what? Because it gave that, especially for melanated skin, it
Mhm,
it does a thing.
mhm.
Uh, and then I started learning, color balance, white balance. It's like, oh, okay, now, the progression,
Yeah.
boom, 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 and that's what happened.
Yeah,
And it
and the
was like,
thing is,
oh,
like,
okay.
because as you learn those things, you get to a point where you you don't have to do as much editing on the back end.
Yes,
The more you understand your camera, you understand your settings, you understand your lighting, the less you have to do on the back end, right? So
yes,
when people talk about, "Oh, editing for hours and hours and hours," I'm like, "Well, that means you're not shooting as well as you should be." So,
exactly.
one of the things that I've evolved with over the decades, as a shooter, because I used to shoot, like, Imma take as many pictures as possible, and then figure out. Now it's like, I get it all set, click, click, okay, that's enough of that shot, I got what I needed, you know what I mean? Like, when you know you have the
Yes,
shot, then you move on to the next thing. I'm like, "Don't nobody got time to be calling 800 pictures from every shoot?"
right, exactly. But you know what? I think we all go through that phase where we just
Yes. It's because it's a kind of a paranoia in the beginning that you don't
oh, it is.
you feel like you're gonna miss the shot or something, like missing focus. It's like
Yes,
you have, like, 5 of the same shot, they're all out of focus, and it's like, so you just kinda, like, you wanna get as many as possible to hope that one is one, but that's the thing about what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
experience.
no, I'm trying I completely lost the word I'm looking for, but, like, focused shooting, right? Or
Yes, yeah.
intentional. I'm like, starts with an
Yes,
I.
intentional shooting, yes.
Intentional shooting. I'm freaking ADHD. I just be losing
Oh,
words
so
all day. But, like, when you shoot intentionally and you take your time, then you get that shot. You know it's in focus because you paid attention to where you were putting that
yes,
focal point, and
yes,
you know what I mean? So
I
but
do know that.
it's one of the things you with experience and like you said, and over time, you gain the confidence. So then
You
this
do.
this goes into let's hop into imposter syndrome, right? So
Okay,
that's a good
yes,
segue,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Because that's also part of for me in the beginning, it was just kinda like, uh, you know,
yeah.
I'm just gonna do fake it till I make it, right?
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah,
how do you or how, do you still experience imposter syndrome? If you do, like, how do you mitigate that?
So in the beginning, uh, I did not. I didn't care because I wasn't trying to shoot like anyone else.
Mhm.
I was just like, "Oh, you know what?" I was just out there for fun. Just I'm having fun. I'm doing this thing. It fulfills me. It feeds my creativity. I actually nowadays I suffer from it a lot
Mm.
because now it's, oh, I'm doing fashion week. I am doing fashion shows. I'm doing portraits. People are paying me, and it's like, is my work good enough?
Mm.
And I'm looking, and I guess it happens more as the more experience you get because you get a more critical eye, and then you start hanging out with other really talented people, and
Mhm.
you're like, "Oh, I wish I woulda took that photo. I wish," and knowing cognitively that you could never have taken that photo because you're not them, and
Mhm.
you don't have their experiences, but you still wish you would've took that photo because it's a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I what I do to mitigate that is I sit down, literally in the same chair,
Mhm.
and I open up my catalog,
Mm.
and I go back to the beginning when
Look
I
at your
did
growth, yeah.
my first real shoot, that storytelling shoot, and then I look at everything that I've done, not everything, but enough to think, "Oh, well, you've consistently been this way. You've consistently done this. This has been just a building block. You belong here." I literally,
Mhm.
in my head, say, "Ken, you belong here. You've done this. If you did not belong, people would not seek you out.
Mhm.
Show promoters would not invite you to come to their fashion shows. Models wouldn't come to you. People would not ask you to shoot their weddings. These are the things. Your body work shows that you are not an imposter. You're legit."
Mhm.
Um, but it's still, but as every creator say, and as Erica Badu say, we're artists and we're sensitive
Sensitive
about our
about our
shit.
shit.
You're right. Exactly. So it's
Yes.
like, okay, so it hits and you're like, "Okay, I just gotta push through it."
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, if you're there for because you have the skill to be there,
Yeah.
and other folks recognize your skill set, and it's like, "Well, you know what? I don't got time to be messing around. This is just some BS.
Yeah.
Let's get it done." You
Yeah, and
know?
that's the thing, it's like you talked about, and I think I've experienced that too. It's like, in the beginning, you're just kinda playing around, so, the imposter syndrome's not really there, but then
Right.
it's when other people start to recognize your talent and start hyping you up, and then in your head, you're like, "Am I actually worth the hype that people are
Right.
giving me?" Yeah, and this came up in another podcast interview where we talked about that. He said in the beginning, he didn't have imposter syndrome. It was when other people started recognizing his talent that he started to question if he belonged. And so I
Right.
think that must just be a natural process or natural progression as an artist. It's like when you start to elevate and it's like,
Certainly.
am I
It's
worthy of the praise that I'm being given? And then you kinda have
yeah.
to get yourself into that mindset of like, yeah, I belong here. Or
Right.
as I like to say now, I know what I'm doing.
Right. Right. I know what I'm doing.
You see
Exactly.
that thing right there that I worked really hard to get? I know what I'm
Yep.
doing, right?
Know what I'm doing. Right. And then because you just have to look back and sometimes it's like, you know what? I worked hard at this. And I think we don't, as artists, we don't give ourselves enough credit.
Mhm,
Because if you think about all the hours you put in trying to figure out a manual camera,
mhm,
digital camera, and then you're like, all the software, I mean, thousands of hours, literally thousands of hours. For any photographer that's out there, if you have a regular day job, you banging out 40 hours a day, 40
mhm,
hours a week a day, I almost guarantee that if you're an artist or photographer, you're doing an additional 40 hours a week learning photography, learning the software, and just slowly but surely, like, pulling yourself through because, oh, it's like I got the camera I have to learn, then I have to learn Lightroom and Photoshop, and then I gotta
mhm,
learn frequency separation, and I gotta learn this, and I gotta learn that. Oh, then I gotta learn how to light someone, then I gotta learn how to pose the model, then I gotta learn how to talk to people
mhm.
because you have to learn how to talk to your subject to
Yeah,
get
'cause
them to do what you want.
it's not just pushing a button.
No, it's not. It's not. And then you have to go in sometimes you have to study how to pose. It's like, well, okay,
Mhm.
well, now I gotta go get posing books. Why? Because people aren't posing properly because why? They're not models.
Exactly.
And even if they were
Exactly.
professional models, it's like, "Wait a minute, I don't you're not doing it right. I need you to
Mhm. You gotta be
do
able
all
to
that."
direct your subjects, like, even if you are shooting a professional model, it's
Yes.
like, okay, well, you're shooting for who the client is, like, if they're modeling clothes or
Yes.
whatever, so you gotta understand the brand
Yep.
of what they're modeling in order to
Exactly.
determine what kind of poses they should be doing. Because it's like, okay, if they're modeling for, like, JCPenney, they're not gonna be posing like they're modeling for Dior, you know what I mean? That's 2
Right,
different completely
exactly.
vibes. So
And
you as a photographer, you have to know how to direct the posing. You can't just completely I've had this argument with people on Twitter and Threads all the time. You can't just rely on the model to be able to do or your subject
no.
to do it,
No,
especially
not
if
at
they're
all.
just a regular person that's coming in for a portrait session.
Yep.
They're gonna hit you with the
Yep.
typical,
Boom.
you know,
Oh, and then they hit you with the
front
jail pose.
poses. Yes.
It's like, "Oh, no, no, we don't do that
Or like
here."
when I'm doing headshots and everybody's instinct is to throw their head
Yes.
back, to put their chin up, and I'm like, "We don't wanna
Right.
see up your nostrils." I'm like,
Yeah,
"We're
really.
yeah,
Bring that thing down
bring
a
it
little
down a
bit.
little bit."
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly, and then what people don't realize is that when you're running a photography business, yo, actual photography is such a small part of it.
Mhm.
You you're scouting locations, you're project managing, you become a hell of a project manager.
Yep.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes, and you're trying to get all the resources you need because let's just say you're shooting in a state park, but then the state park requires you to have a
Perfect.
permit. It's like, "Wait a minute, but this is public?" "You need a permit for this public property, buddy."
Mhm. In
And
the
then you
city of
gotta love
Philadelphia, you need a permit if you're gonna have a tripod or a light stand, anything that's gonna touch the ground, even if you're out on the sidewalk, you have to have a permit. So
really?
that's why you see a lot of people have assistants that hold the light. Because if a
Re
person is holding the light, you don't need a
okay,
permit. If you
so
have a stand that touches the ground, you need a permit.
you need a permit. You know what? That's similar to New York. I did a shoot
Mhm,
during Fashion Week in Bryant Park, and the security guard came and say, "No, you can't do that because your light stand is touching the ground." I think, "But this
mhm.
is a public place."
No.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You need to go ahead and cop that
'Cause
permit.
it's a safety hazard to have a light stand 'cause somebody can trip over it, that's why.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you gotta get yourself a human light stand.
right.
Or you run and
Indeed.
gun. I
Run and
came
gun,
from the days
right.
of run and gun. For the people listening and watching who don't know what run and gun is, like,
Yeah,
it's ask for forgiveness and not for permission. So you
right,
go out there, you get it
exactly.
done, and if the police start approaching, you just haul ass.
Keep it moving, right, right. But, thankfully, I will say that if you are in a major city, Philadelphia, New York, Newark, New Jersey, whatever, usually they're too busy to care about you and your light stand.
Yeah, unless it's
Usually.
SEPTA police. Me and SEPTA police have not didn't get along. I remember one time I was doing a shoot on Broad Street, and we went down it started raining, so we just went down into the train station until the rain, like, let up, and
Right.
literally as soon as we got down there, they must have saw us on the camera, like, on the security camera and saw the camera in my hand, and they came on the speaker, they're like, "You can't photograph down here." I'm like,
Oh,
"Okay, we're
God.
just trying to get out the rain, but thank you."
Yes, yes. That just happened to me recently. I was doing a shoot in Wilmington, Delaware,
Mhm,
and I had brought the model up, and I brought my light stand up. Next thing I know, I got all the shots I needed, but lo and behold, here come the traffic police. "Yo, you can't be here.
mhm.
You need a permit." What do you mean?" Never mind. I didn't even know. I just say, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
Packed
Yep,
up,
you just
walked
and then
away.
that's another thing, don't argue with them, just go,
Yep.
"No," like, cause you know you're wrong, like,
You
'cause I
no,
was definitely I did a shoot, it was some dope graffiti that I saw one day, I was on the train, I saw this spot where it's some graffiti, I took my client, we went back there, clearly there's a sign that said no trespassing, we did it anyway, and we're like, Let's just get in there, get the pictures, get out." As we
right?
coming out, whoop, whoop, here come the
Whoop.
police cars pulling
Please
up, Delaware
yes.
County, and I'm like, "Oh, here we go." So they're
Here we
like,
go. Right?
we got a call that you're back there spraying graffiti." I'm like, "No, we were taking pictures." And they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna need ID." Gave him ID. So while we're, standing there, the other couple's like, "That's a really nice camera." I was like, "You wanna see the pictures?" And so
Right?
I'm, like, showing them the pictures to prove that we weren't back there spraying graffiti.
Right.
And, they checked our hands to make sure we literally, we didn't go back there and
Right.
make, new graffiti for the photo shoot or whatever, and they were like, "Okay, you're free to go." But yeah, those are some dope pictures.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So,
funny.
yeah.
'Cause I tell folks, I say, "Look, you're not a real photographer, you haven't trespassed at least once."
Or dodge some traffic. I used to be
Right?
running in and out of the middle of the street trying to get shot,
Right.
laying on the ground. I've probably laid on top of all types of glass and stuff in the streets of
Indeed,
Philadelphia.
right?
But, yeah,
Indeed,
you listen, you're gonna do what you gotta do to get the
to
shot.
get the shot.
So
Yep.
so speaking of, do you have any type of rituals or things that you do prior to a shoot to kinda, like, get yourself hyped up? I was talking to a friend of mine on a previous podcast about, he's a stand-up comedian, so I'm like, "What do you
Mhm.
do, like, on the way to the show to get yourself, like, amped up?" And, yeah, do you have any type of music or anything you listen to?
Got you. So, what I do is I stay up all night usually, which is crazy
The
because
adrenaline.
the adrenaline, but I'm checking all my batteries. I'm making sure that all my LPEN6 whatevers are all charged. Just like, okay, because, I have the battery grip on my current R5,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "But I need to make sure I have at least all 20 of my batteries ready." Because why? An hour shoot's not going to choose I'm not gonna chew up 20 batteries, but
Listen,
but
you never know what happens.
but you never know,
Listen,
right?
these things exist. We have these many things because of things that we've gone through. Listen,
Exactly.
I will never forget when you messaged the group chat. You were like, "I just arrived to my shoot and my camera wasn't in my bag."
Yes, yes. I was at the Philadelphia Museum. Oh my
Mhm.
that I left my camera out. Okay. Left my camera bag right on my kitchen table.
Mm.
Just knew it was in the car. Just knew it was in the car. No, was not in the car. Do you know what I do now? This camera here, I just bought this in.
Mhm.
This is a 14 millimeter. This is the R5. This is the R5 that I got after, not the R5, the R that I got
Mhm.
right after my T7i.
Mhm.
It's in the car.
That's your backup emergency
I can
camera.
keep it back up.
Yeah.
It's going back in the car after this podcast. It's go and
Well,
I
it's a
keep this
backup
lens on
camera,
the
but it's also like, something just exploded in front of me, let me go take some pictures for the news or something like that.
exactly. Yeah. So I keep 2 batteries in the car too.
Mhm.
So I yeah, because when that happened, I was like, "What?" And what I ended up doing, I ended up doing the shoot on my cell
On your
phone,
phone.
and I shot in camera raw on my phone.
Yeah.
So I was just like, "Alright." I was like, "I'm about to put this phone technology to the test."
Mhm.
And I was using natural light because I had my trigger with me in the car,
Mhm.
and I had all my strobes, but you can't
Yeah.
none of that. So I used natural light, and the photos came out great because I was able to get some really interesting angles.
Mhm.
I'm never doing that shit again.
Yeah. So you
No.
gonna you gonna double and triple, quadruple check everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I stay up now, and I stay up, and I do all my packing, and I put everything in a pile right by the garage door.
Mhm.
So that way, I go in, this is in the car, this is in the
Yes.
car, this is in the car. As a matter of fact, I keep at least 1 light stand in the car and 1 strobe, 180,
Mhm.
200. I'm just paranoid.
Yeah.
Paranoid.
Yeah, pretty much all my light stands just stay in the car now. I don't even bring those in because 'cause I'm like, "Why am I bringing them in the house just to take 'em back to the car again?" I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah, the only I mean, I just bring in my stuff that has my high value things. I bring that stuff in,
Exactly.
but I'm like you. I pack up everything the night before and I sit it. For me, it's at the top of the steps because I'm in a second floor apartment.
Mm,
But in that way, when it's time for me to leave, I'm not scrambling because I've done that many a time. Is trying to find things. I've
mhm.
gotten to shoots with I've forgotten batteries. I've forgotten memory cards. So you
Did that
learn.
too.
You learn. I mean, and it's unfortunately something you have to learn the hard way a lot of the times,
Yeah,
to kind of put these contingencies in place so that
yes.
you don't find yourself stuck, especially if it's like a huge gig or someone
Right.
who God forbid it's a wedding, you know what I mean? That's always been my paranoia is having something break or missing at a wedding
Yes.
shoot, yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to me one time. Actually, not to me. I was second shooter at a wedding, and I love being second shoot at weddings. Oh, I
Mhm.
will second shoot all day, every day for
Yeah, 'cause you don't
anybody.
have to edit or call or anything. You shoot, you hand
Exactly.
it over. I've never
Pretty
been a
much.
second shooter.
Woo!
I've definitely had second shooters and had to go through all their stuff on top of my own.
Yep. I love like, "Here you go." And what happened was she had asked to borrow one of my lenses because her lens wasn't fully mounted onto the camera, so it was stuck, so she was trying to
Oh, mhm.
I was just like, "Here, take my spare camera and do your thing." And girl,
Yeah,
oh, woo! The stuff that happens at events. I
always something.
yes. It's crazy. It's crazy, it's crazy. Oh, man.
So,
Um,
for we mentioned that, you have a day job. So, how do
yeah.
you manage your work-life balance as far as, making sure you stay true to your artistic side, but also, you got a family to provide for?
Oh, work-life balance. What the hell is work-life balance?
It's
That's
an
a myth.
illusion.
It's a hell of illusion. Work-life balance it's an illusion. They give us the drugs for that one because there is no work-life balance. It is, I get up, uh, and go work 40 hours a week, and when I am not working my day job, I'm down here in my basement studio office space, editing, learning, watching podcasts, trying to
Mhm,
refine my skills as much as possible on top of marketing, sending out emails, responding to people, trying to be active on social media. If anyone's ever follow me, they know my famous Tuesday drops where
mhm,
I will drop like, you know, 12 to 20 photos on Tuesdays and not post for the rest of the week.
mhm.
Uh, I got that from the music industry, and I'm about to date myself. When they used to when new music used to come out
On
on
Tuesdays,
Tuesdays
we're sold.
and movies used to come out on Fridays. Okay. So, I do my Tuesday drop, wah, 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 and then, call it a day. But all that takes time, and what I've learned was that, 1, I get up at 3 in the morning.
Wow.
I get up at 3 in the morning because anyone follows me, they know that 4 to 4:30, between 4 and 4:30, I'm on my way to the gym.
Gym, mhm.
So I gotta do that,
I'm
and
trying to
then
get back to that type of schedule, but my brain
yeah,
doesn't shut off till, like, 1 o'clock in the morning, so
yeah. So, you know what? Mine didn't used to either, and I actually had to force myself to be like, "You know what? Stop."
Mhm,
Become real regimented, and, it was like, "Okay, get up at 3, have my time to myself,
mhm,
go to the gym, come back home, drink my protein shake, eat my eggs, yada, 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 get ready to go to work, double check any last minute edits that I need to get done because
mhm,
always editing, and then go to work. Come home, spend time, allocate 2 hours for the family."
mhm.
I know that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but believe it or not, 2 hours is a lot for your family. You just
Yeah.
sit there
I mean, you
and
got
you are
teenagers now,
focusing.
right? So
Oh, no, actually, my kids are grown.
oh, they're grown now, okay.
My daughter has moved out and is married.
Oh, wow.
My son my son technically this is his first year of college, but technically he's a sophomore in college because he took accelerated classes.
Mhm.
So he's grown, but
Oh,
my
okay.
kid yeah. So, but before all that, I was like 2 hours, I'm gonna sit here. I got home at like 5:30, so until like 7:30. You got me, guys. You got me. Here it is. I'm not moving.
Mhm.
Let's talk. Let's play games. Do whatever. 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm back down here, and I'm back at the grind. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at books, doing all that. So that's how I got that work life balance. And then I was like, I have to go to bed because I would normally fall asleep in this chair, be like,
I know,
just
I
like
got a
that.
futon in my office, and I'm just like,
Right.
"No, go get into bed. Go get into
Go
bed.
get
Do
them.
not sleep on the
Exactly.
futon."
Right. So then I start setting the bedtime of like no later than 11 o'clock. Go get in bed. I was like, okay. And that actually has been a godsend because it's been really, it's kept me regimented. And
Mhm.
my body's like, oh yeah, this is when we know, this is when we have our peak energy. This is,
Yeah.
and so yeah, yeah. That's probably the one thing, and I started taking a crap ton of supplements,
Oh, yes.
like
Yes. We
ashwagandha
are
to
of the
help.
vitamin age now.
Oh, yeah, yeah, well, I take a multivitamin, but believe it or not, I started taking ashwagandha to help with anxiety
Mhm. I just started
because
too.
what people don't realize is that in this as a photographer, you're on the spot as much as your subjects are,
Mhm.
and your anxiety, although you may not have ever suffered anxiety in life, your anxiety kinda
Yeah, it's
because
just
they
the natural I mean, the cortisol your body's gonna release the cortisol whether it's on a you're
Yep,
consciously anxious or not.
yep,
So, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's like, these people are paying me to get a once in a lifetime moment. It's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
dude, you can't mess this up." So, you let me go ahead and take this ashwagandha and calm myself down. Some people smoke weed. I take
Take ashwagandha.
I take ashwagandha. I'm like, I gotta calm down. 'Cause
Yes, because listen, as a photographer, like you said, like, your subject is, probably anxious, so you're anxious
yeah.
too, and they're gonna be anxious, and that's gonna register in the pictures and stuff, so,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
you wanna be calm and chill and stuff and, to help them get into a flow state during the shoot.
Yes, exactly, and, and once you get there, they're like, "Oh," they get so relaxed, and then you can just start putting on the hype dance for them because,
Yep.
also as a photographer, you're that person's hype person.
Yes.
So, me, Imma jump around, Imma scream and holler, Imma do a
I yelled
whole fucking
yes, like,
jive.
multiple times during the shoot. Once they really start serving, once I've had clients that, like, come in super nervous
Yes.
and, you put some music on for 'em and, you start getting them comfortable in front of the camera and then you start showing them,
Yeah.
I'm very, sometimes I'm hesitant to show them the back of the camera 'cause, some people will really, really scrutinize themselves.
Ah,
But sometimes, like, if it's a really fire shot, like, show them the back of your camera. Then
yes.
in their head, now they're like, "Oh, okay, Imma serve," right?
Right,
So,
exactly.
and then their creativity starts to flow, but it
Yes.
really depends on, like, what you're shooting. Like, with headshots, I generally won't show them the back of the camera because headshots, I do a significant amount not significant, but I do a lot more retouching on a headshot so that the
Okay.
final is, like makes them like, "Oh,
Right.
wow, I've never seen myself look like that before."
Certainly.
But, like, during a portrait session, when you're trying to get them to pose, maybe it's, like, awkward poses or whatever, like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, "It feels weird, but it's gonna look dope," and then I take the picture and I show it to them.
Right.
They're like, "Oh, shit." Like, "Okay, now I
Right?
understand. Okay, well, let me do this now. Let me"
Ye
so, um,
yes.
yeah, definitely have to, as a photographer, keep yourself as calm and chill as possible or
Certainly.
as hype as possible. You can be on either
That
end of
part.
the spectrum there, you just don't wanna be in the middle of, like, anxious, right?
Right, that part because, because once they start getting hype and you're like, "Look at it, look, you be like, "Look, you see your eyes? That thing is fire right there, that
Yeah.
smell, I need to do that again." And
Mhm.
they be like,
Yes. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, and then
Yep,
it
yep, and then you could dial it back yourself, and then you just start pop, 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 you get into your
mhm.
flow.
Yep. Because once they get
Yeah,
into that flow and they throwing out fire, and now you like you said, you get into your flow of just, shooting um, and capturing everything that they throwing at you.
yeah, indeed. So, yeah, I that's the fun part of photography right there,
What
I
kind of
would say.
advice would you give to emerging creatives or emerging photographers, that you wish you had at the beginning?
This is what I would say. Your camera doesn't matter. Your camera doesn't matter. I don't care if it's Canon, Nikon, Sony. I don't care if it's a AE1.
Mhm.
It really doesn't matter. Uh, Lights really don't matter. As long as you can get a consistent light color, it's fine. Whether it's sunlight, flash, whatever, don't skimp on your glass.
Mhm.
Don't skimp on your glass because I will tell you, a 51.2 shoot way different than a 51.8.
Mhm.
That thing, and take your time. Don't believe the hype about you need all these lenses.
Yeah.
Nope. It's like, you know what you do? Get one camera, get a 35 millimeter lens, of what you can afford. Don't break the bank because this you're gonna spend a crap ton of money anyway, and go ahead and learn, learn, learn. Buy the camera used, buy the lens used, because you are gonna beat that first camera and lens up. It's gonna get tossed. You're gonna and then when you are ready to start moving forward, you know, incremental upgrades.
Yep.
Don't go hog wild because you will easily spend, I kid you not, you easily spend 20 grand
Mhm.
on 4 lenses in the body.
Yep.
Easy, because you figure, a 70 to 200, 2.8, that's costing you what, 2,500? A 50 1.2 is costing you another 2,500. Like, that's 5 grand right there.
Yeah.
I don't know who had 5 grand just hanging out, just boop, boop, boop,
I
boop,
know.
boop. Right, because then you still got to buy SD cards.
SD cards, right?
Right, and this is a CFX Express B. These joints go $100 a pop,
Yeah.
but they mad fast. I kid you not, they're mad fast,
Mhm.
but it all costs. Everything costs, so don't spend
Don't
your
beat
money.
yourself up that you don't have the best everybody starts
Yep,
somewhere. Like, I
everyone's gotta
started
start somewhere.
my very first photo shoot, with, like, a client was on film. It was black and white film in my Canon, FT, I think it's the camera that I
Okay,
have. I have an 81 now, but,
mhm,
back then, I was developing the film in my dark room and developing my prints and stuff,
yeah,
and, then it's like, okay, when people saw those pictures and started wanting a book, then it's like, "Okay, now I can upgrade to a digital camera,"
yep,
and then you get more bookings, and it's like, "Now I can get a better digital camera, now I can go full frame." Now it's everybody's getting mirrorless, so now I'm like, "Okay,
right,
let me save up my coins."
yep,
But,
yep,
you work with what you got. It's like, right now, it's like I mean, I have a mirrorless, which is now my webcam, but because 'cause I'm like, it wasn't shooting, it wasn't giving me what my 5D gives me. So I'm like, "Okay,
right.
I'm not doing mirrorless until I can get an R5." That's specifically what I want is the R5 Mark
I
II.
will I will
So,
tell you, that R5, girl,
yeah.
that thing is sweet. I upgraded soon as the R5 Mark II came out, I bought the R5.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Yeah," because it was the king of the hill of the cameras. Just
Mhm.
because it's last year's king of the hill, don't mean it's not king of the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
my 5D, I bought that used from B&H.
right?
And that was now what, 5, almost 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know
That thing's a workhorse.
yeah, it is. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
So,
go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, what else I would tell, new photographers? Print your work out.
Mhm.
Print your work. And you don't have to go buy an expensive photo printer. I went ahead and got a Canon photo printer.
Mhm.
Because a client was like, "Oh, I want you to come do a party for us, but we want you to print out photos
Like
on spot."
live, yeah.
So, got my laptop, hooked it up, did the wireless thing, and
Mhm.
start printing out 5 by 7s. They were loving it. Uh, but no, go to Walgreens, have them or wherever your photo processing is, Photomat or whatever, print
Mhm.
your photos because there is nothing more encouraging than you going ahead, you print out your photo and you see it because, these things are nice, and it's like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
But when you see your joint just
Yes.
whoop, and this hangs
Mhm.
and it's on your wall, you're like,
Yeah. That was
"Yeah."
what I liked about having my studio, was having, like, all my sessions and stuff, pictures on the wall as art.
Yeah.
And I'm really very much a advocate now for getting my clients to order prints and print materials
Yes.
and photo albums and stuff because
Yes.
people are not like you just said, you showed your phone, people are just putting the pictures, they're getting the digitals, putting them on social media, and they're, like, moving on with their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
And those pictures, they hold memories and they hold the progression, especially if you're doing portrait sessions every year with your family, you're showing the
Yeah.
progression of your family. You take those pictures and put them in the album. Like, I miss photo albums. I was just having this conversation with
Me
someone
too.
about when my uncle passed and we pulled out the photo albums to get, pictures for the funeral program, and we're going through and we're, like, telling stories as we're looking at the pictures and stuff.
Yes.
So it's like we're kinda losing that part of, like, having printed photos and albums. So, but I think socially, we're kind of like we're moving back toward an analog experience, right? Vinyls
We
are
are.
big now, and people want DVD players again. They're tired of streaming because things are getting changed, and it's like, I
Yeah,
think we're gonna get back to people getting, prints,
certainly.
especially since, like, the young Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're big into, the disposable cameras are, like, making a they're expensive now, but
Yeah,
disposable cameras are making a comeback.
yeah.
So, definitely print your work out, and shout out to our friend Tiara Brown, who
Yes!
does, calendars with her work. I'm like, "I need to do a 2026 calendar with some of my work." I would have never even thought to do that. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, photographers, print your work. Get
Print your
yourself
work.
you can do chat books, is a big thing, and you can make little
Yeah,
photo albums, of your work, or get a calendar made. But,
get a calendar
uh,
made, yeah.
so
It's
speaking of preserving work,
yeah.
let's talk about your your
We
mini
gonna talk about the
meltdown that you had on Instagram where you thought you lost your
Ooh!
entire life
Okay,
of work.
okay, okay. Alright, so let's talk about the Instagram crash out. And it's funny is because, you know what? The crash out was kind of intentional,
Mhm,
you know, because I didn't have to get on social media. I
mhm,
could've just handled it in-house and just dealt with it.
mhm,
But it's important that for people to see that, oh, everyone's gonna go through this. If
mhm,
you are a photographer, you are gonna go through this.
mhm,
So my background is not just in photography and media, but also in computers.
mhm,
My day jobs, I'm a software engineer.
mhm,
So I I know my way around. I know what I'm doing. So I built a NAS, network attached storage,
mhm.
behind this backdrop. 10 drives, storing everything on there. I
Nice.
moved all of my photos for my entire photography career on there.
Mhm,
I edit directly off of the NAS. Like nothing is on my workstation, which is right next to me. Everything I edit, Lightroom, Photoshop, everything's on there because as soon as you make a change, automatically gets replicated down to all the other
mhm.
drives.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. I need y'all to pay attention to this part here. My NAS started crashing. Hard drives just started just collapsing.
Oh, no.
Cascading effect. Um, and that was probably by far the worst week of my life, uh, because it was like, "Oh, NAS is degrading," and I had to go out and get spare drives, and I have a hot swap in there so I could take care of one drive,
Mhm.
but then I had to start replacing them because they were just all the errors were just cascading across all the drives,
Oh my goodness.
and nothing was available. I opened up Lightroom, and it was like, "Oh, no, your Lightroom catalog is not available. We can't find any of these photos." None of them. I can tell you right now, you know what? Let me open up I have Lightroom open. I have 63,600 check that. 67,257 photos.
Mm,
67,000 photos.
mhm.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's just what's on Lightroom that I've decided to cull and edit, not the
Mhm.
stuff that I've thrown out.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it was a whole crash out, and finally got it under control where I had to replace drives and start doing a whole bunch of other technical things. Uh, however, all I'm gonna say is back up your backups,
Mhm.
because once everything starts to fail and you start going haywire, your cortisol levels go up,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know what I'm doing. And the thing
Mhm.
is I know what I'm doing around these computers, but even with me, it was like, oh, I couldn't think properly to think through the problem
Yeah.
because when you work so hard at something
Yes.
and you start seeing it just burn to the ground, you start panicking. Panic
Mhm.
kicks in. I don't care
Mhm.
who you are. And at some point, your emotions, you just get emotioned out. And then logic finally kicks in. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I can fix this. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
So now I have my NAS in place. It's healthy again.
Good.
But now I have a few offsite backups. And folks probably be saying, "Oh my god, we should have offsite backup anyway." Well, Google Drive space is expensive. When you start talking about online
Mhm.
backups, it's like, they're only giving you 5 gigabytes, 5 terabytes. I have over 50 terabytes worth of data.
Mhm.
That's no Google's not backing that up without it being extra expensive. So you
Yeah.
need a whole extra machine to go in and back all that up, yada, yada, yada. So took care of all that, have it backed up at my friend's house, who's also on IT. I was like, "Look, we both got fiber. I need to piggyback on your network."
Nice.
So we back each other up. So I was like, "So if anything happens again, I won't have to crash out." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'll just go ahead and grab it and just go up next county, come home, pop it in." But yeah,
Mhm.
back it up because you don't want that.
Yeah.
And I had client data on there that I had not delivered yet.
Yeah. I've learned that the hard way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a hard drive crash, and fortunately through, my PPA membership, I had the, data backup assistance option, or I forget what they call it, but you data recovery, there we go.
Okay.
They offer a data recovery service, so I, sent my drive out to them. I had to pay, like a little, like, copay, or,
Right.
um, and they were only able to recover about half of the information on there, which was mostly just, the older stuff, not really like a lot of the newer stuff that I hadn't edited yet. So I didn't lose any shoots that weren't unedited, but I did lose like some drone stuff that I had gone up to New
Ah,
York to shoot for work. So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to, like, now I have to schedule." I mean, I had to go up to Long Island. That's not a fun drive. So like, now I gotta go back up there and shoot this
right.
stuff. So I learned my lesson there about, you know, hard drives, and, I definitely said I don't have a NAS like you, but I do have multiple hard drives where I'm, like, backing up my raw data, my raw footage and everything, just in
Yeah.
case something happens and I need to access it again. And, because it was one of the little portable ones, I think I had dropped it or whatever, and then it was like, it was a wrap.
It was a
So,
wrap. Yeah.
yes, gotta learn things the hard way, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild, and it's funny you say that you dropped the mini hard drive because I used to have those, those portable hard drives,
Mhm,
the spinning hard drives.
mhm.
I actually stopped using those, when I go in the field, like, when I go to Fashion Week or other places and I have to bring my laptop. I now use a solid state drive, SSD drive
Yes,
like you use
same.
regular, and I have it inside of a USB, sled, so
Mhm.
that way I'm like, "Yeah, I could throw this thing, I could drop it. I don't have to worry about hard drive heads crashing." It's like, "Nope, we're good
Yeah,
with that."
I was just willing to travel, but now I've, like, I can't remember what I put into my computer. When I upgraded my SSD, it's I got so much storage now on the actual laptop that I don't need to travel with an external drive. But
Okay.
I do still bring an external drive, like I said, just so I have somewhere else to back up my raw footage if
Exactly.
something happens and my computer crashes. I need to have a backup of what I shoot. I also, like, I mean, I know a lot of people store their stuff, they'll just buy new SD cards. I don't do that.
No.
Once I've taken it off the SD card, I've formatted it and move
Exactly.
on. Yeah, I'm not, but, yeah, so, but just have it in multiple places because you never know, right?
You never know. Exactly. Because SD cards get expensive. It's like, come on,
Yes.
man. Especially if you're shooting with dual SD card slots,
Mhm.
or if you're dealing with a CF Express and SD, it's like, man, them joints get expensive. It's like,
Yeah.
watch this. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. In
The
my
SD
hand
cards
right
are getting
now.
more expensive, but the little external hard
Right.
drives are getting less expensive, so
Exactly. So check this out. In my hand right now, I have $400 in storage. That's it's like, really? It's like, I'm not buying a new one of them joints every time I do a new shoot.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I'm gonna use
I
it
don't do
until
that.
it wears out.
I transfer and format, and just
Yep,
keep
that's
using the
it.
same card over and over, and then once, if actually, I haven't replaced cards. I bought additional ones now. I
Right?
buy, like, faster ones as they come out, but I've
Yes.
I've never had, a like, a need to replace a card, or, I've never had one crash or
No.
break or anything on me, so
consider yourself lucky. I've had a few SD cards crash. It was funny is I used to use, um, SanDisk SD cards,
Mhm.
but then I moved over to Samsung SD cards,
Oh, really?
and I don't think many people know that Samsung makes them.
I did
I
not know
thought
that.
yeah,
I have mostly I do, SanDisk and Lexar are what I have.
certainly.
Mhm.
So, for my CF Express, I use SanDisk, because that's just based off of SSD, but that's based off SSD technology,
Mhm.
but I started using Samsung's, cards,
SD cards, okay.
SD cards, because I was like, "Wait a minute, I have a Samsung hard drive.
Mm.
They make all the parts for everyone else. Let me just go ahead and just go straight to the source."
Yeah.
It's like getting a television from LG. It's like, "Oh, wait a minute.
Mhm.
LG sells all the parts to everyone else. Let me just go buy that TV."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, just that
So,
makes
everyone has received a tech lesson today from Ken. But,
yes,
and this is yet again proof that photography is more than just pushing a button, right?
indeed.
And, people don't understand what we're going through and our crash outs behind the scenes. Um,
Yes.
so I appreciate you taking the time to hop on the podcast today, talk
Yeah,
through
of
your
course.
experiences. Um, Definitely good luck at New York Fashion Week. When is
Thank
that?
you.
That's in February, right?
In February, yeah,
Yeah,
so always right around my birthday, so I consider that my birthday present to myself.
nice.
I go to work. Yes, yeah, so I'll be there, uh, 13th, 14th, 15th, to 16th of
Nice.
February. So, yeah, it's
So,
gonna
and
be a
then,
beautiful time.
tell everybody where they can see your work.
Oh, yeah, you could, find me, on Instagram at KenKreator.
Mhm.
You can also find me at KenKreator.com on my website. You can find me at KKProServe, which is my professional services account where I do headshots and all of the non-artistic stuff
Okay.
that Ken Creator shows. Because on my Ken Creator page, that's a lot of the artistic stuff where it's like, what does this guy specialize in?
Mhm.
It's just everything. If it comes to my brain, it's going up there.
Okay.
Uh, so, but the pro serve is like, oh, you get your professional headshots, all that stuff. So yeah, but go to KenCreator.com and you'll see all the good stuff there. Uh, Everything from fashion to the art part of it. Yeah, it's all the good stuff.
Nice. Thanks
Yeah,
again, Ken.
of course, anytime.
All
I
right.
can't believe it's been an hour already. It's like,
Listen,
really?
we can talk about photography for forever,
Forever,
right?
forever. Yeah, and it's funny is because as soon as we're done here, I have to prepare for a day of shooting tomorrow, so that means I'm gonna be up all night charging batteries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same, 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 same. So,
Yes.
all right. Thank
Alright.
you,
Thank
and I hope
you.
everyone enjoyed.
Life doesn't always stay in perfect focus. There's magic in the blur we can't ignore. Every shadow, every highlight softly shows us who we are and who we're reaching for. When the world feels out of frame, every thought, every fear, every revelation, I find my way through the quiet flame, light in life and all the limitations.